I don't know who said this originally, but it's stuck with me, and it's that birth control is bad feminism. And if you think about the origin, you think about the 60s of this being largely on the market, you think about women entering the workplace in much larger numbers and striving to do anything a man can do. And like, we can be promiscuous because we don't have to worry about unplanned pregnancy. We can work any job because we don't have the inconvenience of a menstrual cycle. You know, those ideas were sold to women as an opportunity for empowerment. We've got these opportunities now. We don't have to shoulder the burden of a pregnancy that we didn't want. And while I can celebrate the fact that, you know, women got to pursue things that maybe they didn't get to before, what did we get in return? You know, we got chemical menopause, we got synthetic hormones, we got all the health risks associated with that, from blood clots to cancer risk to heart disease, to anxiety and depression and infertility. And then we're left with what at the end? So what did we really get? Was it freedom, or was it another trap? So it's something that I think about often.
No, it's I think it's a very cool way of framing it. And it's what I often think about as well, because I'm thinking the same lines as you. Like, on one hand, this access to even education and employment that wasn't available until relatively recently in our history is something worthy of celebrating. And at the same time is like, what are we actually getting from this, and what's happening? And, you know, you mentioned something like infertility, and there's also this conversation of declining birth rates and potential population collapse. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, humans are a scourge on the earth, so good. And it's like, wait a bit, like, for the first time in history, women have no children at the age of 30, then they are with child. That's for the first time since records have begun. So, you know, on one hand, that's because the economic stresses of needing 2-income households and all of that stuff, but it's also a consequence of that, right? I'm going to pursue career more than this, and maybe later I'll come back to it, but now my window is shorter. So now maybe I only have one kid, where a few generations ago, we were 3 or 4 kids. And all of this stuff is just interesting because it changed the landscapes of who we are as a species and a culture moving forward.
I know. And, you know, you have to think about the marketing efforts behind this too. And a big piece of the education that I aim to provide is that birth control isn't your only option for minimizing symptoms or preventing pregnancy. It's actually pretty simple to do those things. And so it was presented as like, this is the one route for freedom. Like, we can pursue careers and educational endeavors and not have symptomatic cycles without birth control. That's just not what you're going to see an advertisement for. So it's a big education lack in that space.
Hello, friends. If you enjoyed that clip, then you can watch the entire thing by heading to this link over here, or you can find us wherever you find podcasts by searching Radical Health Radio. If there's value here, please hit that like button. Let us know in a comment what your biggest takeaway was, and hit subscribe. Support the show as we support you.